Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to our March Town Hall. I'm Michael Lackey, your TV POA Board President for this year. We've got some quick highlights we'd like to touch on for just a minute. Do you have that slide for me? All comments and questions at the board meetings and town halls shall be offered by an individual speakers coming to the microphone to address the board during the comment period. Courtesy to TVN viewers, viewers require this. Disorderly shouted comments or questions away from the microphone are not permitted because they're not shared with those who are watching us online. It's hard for them to keep track of it. Each member of the TV POA may speak for a maximum of 3 minutes. Courtesy of the others requires that members wishing to add very brief additional comments should move to the rear of the line of the speakers. There's no yielding of time to others to lengthen their time limit. Length of comment period. A maximum length of 30 minutes will be allocated for public comments at board meetings. A longer time is determined by the board president, me, will be allocated at town halls because this is your opportunity to speak. The board meetings, we're trying to keep them focused on business so that we can conduct the business of the POA. Subjects permitted, general comment period or town hall, TV POA members may address any subject on which the board could act in a comment period or a town hall concerning a specific topic. TV POA members shall confine their comments to questions that are specified. Is that it? No, there we go. Ban on personal attacks. You guys can't come up here and knife me. That's a bozo no-no, so there's no personal attacks. Please try to avoid repetition. I understand it gets passionate sometimes, and if we could avoid that, I'd sure appreciate it. Factual corrections, statements by board members or members containing errors of fact should be corrected in a non-confrontational manner, please. Statements of opinion should not be challenged by the directors or management, thereby avoiding open debate. Questions are encouraged and may be answered by the directors or management when possible. Where an immediate answer is not available, the answer shall be reported at the next regular board meeting. Is that it? So it's a good thing for all of us, just a little guidelines to allow everybody a little courtesy. If you'd bring up the agenda for the day, we'll get going. That's my welcome, and I would welcome all of you here to our town hall meetings. This is your meeting. This is your opportunity to comment and to have questions. Can't guarantee an answer, but I can guarantee you the opportunity to speak as long as we're out of here by, when's the quilters come, 5 or whatever? I don't want to get shot by the quilters, so they're pretty protective over their time slot. Just keep that in mind. At this time, Scott, you want to come up here and let us know how we're doing on our pump station and on Tanasi?
Thank you, Mike. Just want to give you a quick update on Tanasi, and I will also just say this, that the photos that I'm going to be showing, I've got a lot of good photos on the inside. I took those Saturday morning so that they would be up to date, and I will say that they're already out of date based on how much work was done just today. So, and I'll point those out as we go through, but people are working. Basically, we're moving forward very well. We're starting to install some of the mill work. The check-in desk within the pro shop is going up. We're staining the slat walls, and we'll be installing those. We've got lights installed throughout Tanasi. The only ones that aren't installed are the ones that are going over top of some of the display cases. And we've got some really, really nice artistic acoustical tiles in the flex space in the pro shop, and they're putting the checkerboard acoustical tiles in the pro shop. They were installing that when I left this afternoon. We've got all the masonry complete except for cleaning. We're going to do that at the very end. We've got a couple of punch list items where there's a brick or two that we had to remove to do some electrical work. And we will be installing the stone work that you see on the walls going into the restaurant. That same stone work will go around all of the concrete piers. So that we just got the sand and mortar for that delivered today, and all the stones will be delivered tomorrow, and we'll get those installed as soon as it warms up this week. Sprinkler system and fire alarms are in and complete. They're in service now. We do have the HVAC systems are commissioned and working. Last week, the air conditioning was on. Today, the heat was on, so we know it's working. Painting, we're complete in the pro shop and the restaurant, with the exception of the restrooms in the restaurant. We're getting ready. We're cleaning the floors. The cleaning crew was in there working on getting all the dust and everything out of the building so we can start installing wall coverings. And then there's a lot of wall coverings that go into flex space, private dining, the restaurant, and the entry alcove, so it will really be beautiful. Installing the audio and video and security equipment. We've got a lot of security cameras that were installed around the buildings. And yes, there are cameras available for parking lots. They're not going to be installed. We've got the wiring there, but until the board gives us authorization to install them, we won't install them in the parking lots. But we did make provisions. I saw that online. We will be planning to move into the pro shop at the end of April. The simulators are scheduled for installation on the 16th through the 20th of April. And then as soon as we remove the temporary cart barn and the pro shop, we'll finish the grading down in there and do the final grading for the new putting green and get the contractor on board for putting in the putting green. We will not be doing the final paving of the parking lot until middle of June. And the reason for that is we want to get the temporary pro shop and the temporary cart barn out of the way. We assume that there might be some damage to curbs and possibly to the asphalt. So we wanted to make sure that we could repair that and then do a final coat. So that's scheduled right now for the 15th and 16th of June. There's an aerial view as of about a month and a half ago. This is what it looks like today. You can see a lot of changes there. We've got all of that dirt in the back has been filled in along the back of the restaurant there. We've got all of the grade down on by the cart barn. You can see the garage doors all the way on the left. That's all now at grade. And as soon as it stops raining and dries out, we'll get the final grade in there, and we plan on placing concrete. I was hoping to do it this week. It'll be next week. And we will be repaving. For those of you on the KLM docks there, we'll be repaving. We'll be tearing out the asphalt path down there and repaving it with concrete without steps. So you'll be able to pull your beer coolers and other things down without having to struggle with the steps. This is the front door of the pro shop. You can see, again, a lot of changes, a lot of can lights. If you can see the little black tubes on the under the ceiling, those are down lights there. And all the way, it's not a very good photo, but all the way on the right, the pier there, you can see the stonework that goes around the pier. That will go around all 22 piers that we have at the base. Here's some of the millwork that's been installed in the pro shop. So you can see it's beautiful, beautiful white oak stained in a dark oak stain. So it looks really, really nice, very rich and full. The contractor was in this morning. He is measuring for granite countertops. And he did remind me that one of my favorite granites, Ubatuba, will be installed. I had that in 3 of my houses. And then Doreen said she wants a different granite countertop for our current house, so we have something different. Again, here's another photo of just, you can see how beautiful that millwork will be, built-in cabinetry. The pro shop, this is just the entry to the flex space there. I wanted to show you. You can see how the sidewalk there coming up has the little indented space. That is where our pavers will go, and I'll talk a little bit more about pavers and why everybody should be buying a paver. Here's the flex space cabinetry at the back of the pro shop, and there are the acoustical tiles. And it's hard to see from here, but those lights, the ones in the front, the acoustical tiles and the lights make kind of a puzzle, and they fit fit together. The two in the back, the electrician is in the process of moving those and putting them in the correct space of the puzzle, so that will all go together. So it's a really, really cool look for that area. There's the simulator bays finished and some of the millwork that has been stained. We've got a lot of millwork. It's all beautiful custom and will be installed in the pro shop and around the around this flex space here. Moving over to the restaurant, there's the hostess stand and the tiles on that. So beautiful blue tiles, and it's a lava-based tile, so there's a lot of crackling and personality in those tiles if you see them up close. Dining room, the lights, we had to put the lights into the dining room right away. We didn't uncover them because we're still cleaning. But the lights, there will be some acoustical tiles or acoustical panels that run the length of the dining room, and they'll be in there wrapped around or in between the lights, which is why they're hanging there. So it was like, well, do you put the lights in or do you put the acoustical tiles in? Well, if you put the acoustical tiles in first, you can't get to the electrical boxes. So it was quite a little coordination effort there. The stereo speakers are going into the dining room now. So they're going there. The private dining, there's the wall there in the private dining. The hole in the middle will be a portal looking out into the alcove. So that will be, we'll have a window in there. It'll have a nice granite countertop as well. Stereo speakers were installed in private dining today. So like I said, when they were not there Saturday, they are there now. So we have 6 speakers in the private dining and all. Kitchen equipment, you can see the kitchen equipment is going in. It's all still covered. We'll put it into their final positions. All of the gas is hooked up. Now, everything came in natural gas, so the plumbers are in the process of changing it all to propane. They have to change the orifices out on everything, but that's pretty typical. Almost all restaurant equipment here is natural gas. There's our food prep area. Again, a lot of space. All of this is stainless steel, so beautiful, easy to clean. The walls are fiberglass covered panels, so they're real easy to clean as well, so easy to get the grease and dust off of them and keep clean. And the fire suppression system has been installed in the kitchen hoods. Yes, there's automatic and there is a manual, so if they can punch a button in and disperse it as well. There's the bar looking toward the cove. Notice the rack at the top. That's for like storing some alcohol up there and other things. It'll all be enclosed. We'll put some nice black FRP on that, and then there's a beautiful brown basket weave that goes on the outside of that. And again, this was Saturday. Notice that there's no equipment in there. That was all in the private dining room that I didn't show. It's now all been installed. So it's all in there, and there's countertops around the entire bar that the contractor has put in, and he'll be adding quartz countertops on top of that, but he put the support plywood in there. So all of that has been done today. Again, here's what our pavers will look like. The Tanasi logo will be up between the 2 doors. And again, please, Timeless Teleco is selling these, and I think there's 2 or 3 folks from Timeless Teleco in the back of the room. So if you want to buy a paver before you leave, please do so. If you haven't already bought a paver, if you're a golfer and haven't bought a paver, please reconsider. Timeless Teleco donated $100,000 for the purchase of the simulators, which will not only be great for the golfers there at Tanasi, but there's a lot of fun things you can do if you have visitors come, if they want to play. You can actually play games against people in other locations with the simulators, and Casey will be setting that up, so it's really, really a great opportunity. Now, if you're not a golfer, that's okay. You should be buying a paver anyway. Why? Because Timeless Teleco also gave $50,000 for the furniture in the back of the flex space, which is probably one of the most beautiful views in all of Tanasi in any of our restaurants. And if you're in Kahiti, you should buy a paver anyway because Timeless Teleco donated to the Great Wall of Kahidi and other functions over there as well. So there's no excuse not to buy a paver. Now, if I sound like a salesman for Timeless Teleco, so be it. But I really think that that's how they fund what they've donated to us.
TimelessTeleco.com.
Thank you, Carla. And again, here's what the logo will actually look like in the pavers. So it's beautifully done. We've already paid for the logo and all, and it's being manufactured up in New Jersey. And again, just the location. So right there when you walk in, everybody will get to see the pavers and what's there. And there's just another example of what they look like when they're installed. All right, now I'm going to switch over to the main lift station. A lot of work there has been done. Basically, last week, TDEC did come out for an inspection. They went ahead and they have to inspect all the items that are there. The most important thing that they looked at was the sign for the grant, because TDEC wants everybody to know that they gave us roughly $2 million for this. So we have the sign there, and they did remind us we cannot take the sign down until they tell us to about 30 days after the project is complete. So again, they wanted to have that. We did get the pump bases about a week and a half ago, and that's we needed those before the pump so we can get the piping into the wet well. We got the wet well inserts. I said here that we would get them Monday or Tuesday. They came in at 9:30 this morning. They're offloaded and getting ready to install as soon as we get a dry wet well out there. We're getting safety fencing to go on the top of the retaining wall, and we've had a number of questions between Jacobs Engineering and our pump control panel vendor in order to make sure we could power all the other equipment from that same control panel, and so we've worked all of that out. The odor control system, we're actually able to downsize that because we eliminated the second wet well there, which was for the tank. Since we don't have a storage tank, we didn't need the second wet well, so we can get a little bit smaller size there, so we'll be saving some funds. That's just an aerial view of where we are. You can see on the right the green grassed area. That's our stormwater detention area. The round brown is the wet well. The two plywood areas are covering our valve vault and meter vault. And then you can see the retaining wall. And right immediately in front of the retaining wall is where the electrical building will go. So we're making great progress there. We're getting ready to install a bunch of the piping and dig up some of the roadway there. The RDI&I efforts, we're about 70% done with our inspections. It was a little bit slow in January and February because of the cold weather, a little bit of snow, and the cold weather, Joe was a little slow in getting some of those, so instead of the 75, you got about 50 to 60 a week, so we're moving forward on that. We're moving forward with the remediation. I had two people ask me questions today about, with the rain that we've had just recently, has that given us any other information? We'll be collecting all of that data, but qualitatively, I will say that last week when we got the 2 inches of rain over at Kahidi in about 3.5 hours, that rain fell early in the morning, so 7 to 9, 7 to 10 in the morning. We had 2 hours of high wet well alarms at Kahidi. We didn't overflow, but we got close. And Marty and his crew were over there watching to make sure we didn't have an overflow. So there's been an improvement, but qualitatively, I'm not sure it's been enough. It's not where we need to go yet, but I don't want to make that statement definitive until we get the quantitative data. Now, this morning when it rained, we had a lot of rain, but that fell at like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning. So we didn't have any high-level alarms at any of our wet wells throughout the village. And, and last week when we had the 2-inch, we also had high alarms at Tokwa as well. So there are two of our wet wells. And those are areas that have had the risers and all. So we'll be looking at the data more definitively, but I just did, a number of people have asked, we've had the rain, so I thought I would at least update you on that information and let you know.
Scott, quick question relating to that. Can you tell us approximately what times of day are the sensitive times where the village is using the most water? I mean, 7 to 9 in the morning sounds pretty close, but
Yeah.
are there a couple times, that, when is it?
Yeah, and great question, David. I think this goes both to water and sewer and also irrigation. And also when we look at our water system and when we look at our sewer system, the hours between about 5 a.m. and 10 a.m. and then in the evening from about 1600 to 4 in the afternoon to 9 at night, those are the times when people are showering, preparing meals, doing laundry and things like that. And as we come into the summer, there's a lot of irrigation that's done at that time as well. Now, I know some people irrigate a little bit earlier in the morning or a little bit later in the evenings. But if you irrigate or if we have heavy rains during those times, we are much more likely to have issues. Because you think about virtually every drop of water that comes into your house goes down a drain someplace. So. Any other questions? I know I went through this pretty quickly, and I had a lot of slides, but those are photos, and so I wanted to go through those.
Mr. President, I've got one. I didn't see your mic on, I'm sorry. You want to go first?
No, go ahead.
I just got one. The odor control, that system that comes in,
Yes.
I'm presuming this one's going to be in, and I know we've got them ordered. We talked in the, I don't know if it's pit meeting or when it was, but you and I had a conversation about the other areas. I refer to Stinky Corner, Toka Road and 444. I don't know if you have an update. I know they're coming Germany, overseas somewhere.
No, the odor control is actually made in Holland, Michigan.
Okay, I'm sorry.
No, the surge tank is coming from France.
Oh, okay, that's what it was.
So you're not,
Okay,
you're almost there, but that's.
But will those odor, I know I think we talked, you're doing one that's kind of a overall fit, and in other words, they don't have to make another dye, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Could you just say a little bit about that? Some residents may be interested in when theirs is going to be fixed, since it's.
All right, timing, I can't really address that, but the odor control that we're using at the main lift station is state-of-the-art biofilter, and one of the things that I would like to do as we've drawn out the schedule for moving forward with some of these other ones, I wanted to go ahead and address, if we could, the odor control and get those in. But again, once we see how well this works at the main lift station, then I think it's a good time to come back to you and the board and say, let's move forward, get the engineers to design the odor control for every one of these other stations, regardless of what we do with them from a waste handling size.
Is there a long wait on those once you determine what you need or the design? Is
They're about a 6-month from drawing to installation, ready to install. Now, we can shorten that time if we use the same package each time, if we're able to get those to fit.
That's what I was referring to.
And I would think, since we've now downsized this to a little bit smaller unit, at our largest lift station, it's very likely that we'll be able to use it as is on all the others.
Okay, thank you.
I got a couple for you, Scott. Where are we at on the grant? Have we billed anything and received any, or maybe Judy can help in that space? Because you said they want their sign up. I want their money if they want their sign up.
We are billing, I know we've billed for engineering, and they just recently came back to us and asked for clarification because some of the original engineering invoices that we had submitted, some were for the lift station and some were for the tank. When we abandoned the tank, they asked us to clarify what engineering was there because they don't want to reimburse for something that we're not moving forward with. Now, technically, they could, but we moved all the funding to the main lift station, so we would get all
So
of
we
that.
will get the full 2.1?
So we will get the full amount.
Okay, good.
Yes.
Second question that I have here, and this is kind of something that you and I spoke with when I was at Tanasi last week. Have you considered an opportunity to talk with the Marinas Committee about getting must be the LDOC in the middle, and possibly moving those boats to the yacht club, since the yacht club's going to be shut down for lunch? And, I mean, there's an opportunity there, and I just want to put the bug out there to chat with them about creating transient parking once Tanasi's open for other boaters. Because right now, there's only 6 slips at Tanasi.
Yes.
That would, and just maybe we can, if you bring something to the board, or maybe there's a proposal there that we could look at and get the boaters thinking about moving those boats to the yacht club and reestablishing the fence that's there now, the gate's there. I don't think it would be that big a deal. We'd have to add a gate, move a gate and add a gate at Tanasi. But it would allow more traffic into the restaurant during the summer months.
I have not been to the Marina Committee, Advisory Committee yet, but we'll do so.
Yeah, just, it's
Yep.
an idea,
I'll
it's
do
an
that.
opportunity, and it's outside revenue, it's voluntary revenue. If we need to offer the boaters that are moving a temporary reduction in rates to get them, to encourage them to go to the yacht club, and we can make that, we can look at that and talk about it, but I think that's a good voluntary revenue. We've got the slips at here, shoot, they're right down the road there.
Yep.
And they won't be used during the summer because the restaurant won't be open for lunch.
Right.
So just, it's a thought.
I'll bring that up.
Are there any other questions for Scott? This is your guys' time. Come on up, George.
I won't even use the other microphone. Talking about the docks,
You gotta move to that.
I'm referring to the docks. There was a plan, hope to move KLM further into the cove. Is that dead now? And then there was a boardwalk that was going to
Yep.
accommodate.
All right, I'll address that. Okay, so the question was, initially, the plan was to move the KLM docks further down into Tanasi Cove and put a separate dock there. TVA declined that because we are actually oversubscribed for the total number of slips in the village. That said, they did say that they would seriously consider if we wanted to move the KLM docks into the cove and put a boardwalk along the back, that they would consider that. They didn't say they would approve it, they said they would consider it. I suspect that they would likely approve it because they wouldn't have made the suggestion if they were going to do a blanket no. That said, we hadn't thought about the idea that Mike had just brought up, and that is if we got 14 more slips available for transients and visitors by encouraging the people along the LDOC to move to the yacht club, or encouraging 14 people from KLM to move, and we could juggle slips around and all, then we would save all of that. We would save that money, the cost of construction, the cost of moving. I believe Beth had an estimate of somewhere around $100,000 just to move the dock, and then we would still have to construct the boardwalk, which I think would be considerable expense as well. So there's a real opportunity here using Mike Lackey's suggestion of getting those additional slips without incurring a lot of additional costs to the POA. So we'll, and without putting anybody out, just saying, well, you need to go to the yacht club instead of the Tanasi for your slip. So all food for thought.
Step up there, young lady.
I love that idea. We have.
Tell everybody who you are, Pandora.
I'm Pandora Vreeland, Hello Board. I love the idea about extra parking for Tanasi Restaurant because you can't get valet parking there. So, and boaters are turning away because we can't find spots there, and it's a great restaurant. We'd love to do that. I kind of have a nervous Nelly question. I'm seeing all this progress on Tanasi rebuild. Is it already being insured? Have we got insurance?
Right now, it's covered
covering it?
under builder's risk.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which is our blanket policy and the contractor's policy, because he hasn't turned it over to us yet.
Okay, I just want to make sure, we're
No,
covered.
that's a good
All right,
call.
thank you.
Good question. Yeah. And the fires, the fire sprinkler system, fire alarm system are all in service as well, which were required before we started up the HVAC and brought propane into the building.
I want to stand up so we're trouble.
Please do, because the people online can't hear you. Come on, Tom, yeah.
Hi, I'm Tom Farrell. Hi, I'm still Tom Farrell. Have you considered putting in 4 or 5 slips, 4 or 5 parking spots, 15-minute only, loading and unloading for KLM docks, so that people can pull up, unload, put stuff on their boat, and not have to worry about, parking all the way hell and gone in the parking lot and lugging their stuff over?
We haven't really looked at where you would dedicate them, but we certainly could do that. When you look at when you look at the traffic coming out of the parking lots and all, basically the restaurant has its own parking lot, and then the golf, obviously, for anybody that's played golf there, we've more than doubled the size of what was the Tanasi parking lot before. So we've got a lot of that. There will be there will be a path that goes down to the cart barn and obviously down to the KLM docks. So we can certainly look at reserving, there's a couple of signs at the yacht club here for parking lot, for the signs that say for boaters only. So we could certainly put for boaters only signs there. We could get those installed, no problem on that.
I think what he's referring to, and correct me if I'm wrong, just like 15-minute parking. Put a yellow curb and 15-minute parking.
And we could certainly
So that they could have
we
a-
could certainly do that as well. So that way they're rotating
Yeah,
and
I
you,
think-
Stuff on the boat,
Yeah, that's what I think he's really looking
Yes.
for, rather than a dedicated boat parking spot.
okay.
That actually would also be useful for somebody who's called in a food order, drives in, wants to pick it up and go away.
We can do that. And there are pull-off spots. So if you're coming around 9, you can pull your cart off and go into the restaurant and grab food. So if you've ordered lunch or ordered a meal on the when you're playing, you can go ahead and just pull your cart in, run into the restaurant. There's a separate grab-and-go area. You know how a lot of restaurants now have grab-and-go, if you've done that, because everybody will be on toast now. So you can order on toast, pull your cart in, grab your meal, and then run back out, get in your cart, and continue on over to 10 and move forward. The same thing if you're coming up from the docks. There's a back stairwell that comes up from the dock area as well. So if you're coming in by boat, pretty easy to access.
Hey, Scott, to Tom's point and to Mike's, I will tell you, I'm glad Tom brought that up. I've had about a half a dozen people ask me that question about 15-minute parking to be able to unload. Some of them are, well, I'm making the assumption they have to park a long way, pull it, get all the way back, and they're trying to tie up or hold off. If you can arrange that, I think it'd make some of our customers very happy.
Yes.
But I have had that same come up to me.
Yes, we'll do that.
Thank you.
And the other thing that came up too, as I mentioned, we're not going to do the final paving until the middle of June. And we did make provisions, so I've worked this out with Casey. They're going to have to shut down Tanasi for those 2 days because we have to have the parking lot where nobody can get in there. So we'll have the golf course shut down for those 2 days. The rain date is the following Monday, Tuesday, and if it rains both weeks, it's going to be October. So we did work with the inspector, and he said he would give us a CO as long as we had the parking lot, handicapped parking spaces marked, signs up, and the striping in for the handicaps. We're going to stripe everything for the restaurant on the temporary covering there, and then when we get the permanent in, we'll restripe.
A quick question about that, Scott. It's probably an ignorant question because I'm not a golfer. When you have to close for the paving, could a golfer who has a boat pull up and go golf? They wouldn't be pleasing everybody.
They already do.
Well, no, but could they do it and they're not interfering with his parking lot operation?
Oh, yeah.
Well,
I would assume, we have people, I know the golf course was officially closed January 1st. There were people, because it was the first day of the year, they had to play golf. And it was actually 60 degrees, so they were playing golf on a closed day, but
No,
yes, they
but
do.
the golfers should chime in here, but you
David,
could
they
at
could
least
do that,
let
but let's-
some people play.
Well, yeah, but you're not
Don't
going to,
close the
you're
whole
not going to
thing.
staff the course
Okay,
for
yeah.
half a dozen players.
Yeah, and there are people that do come up by boat at the dock and then take their clubs off and play golf and then have lunch and go back at the old Tanasi. That was definitely a thing. I have several friends that have done that from Kahiti, so, yeah.
Mike, I have a question. Scott, you indicated earlier 15, 16 July for resurfacing? Is that-
June.
You said June now?
15 to 16 June, I'm sorry. If I said July, I apologize. It's June.
Okay.
Sorry about that, Kerry. My bad.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you want to talk, just step up to the mic, and you don't have to raise your hand. We'll get you in line.
Okay. My name's Jim Long. I live in Tokwa. Fortunate to have the pump station in my backyard. And I saw maybe a week or two ago that looked like there was a pump being changed out there.
Yes, Tokwa, the Tokwa lift station is one of our more problematic lift stations. We have a lot of electrical wiring issues, and we've had a couple of pump issues there. So it gives, it keeps the Public Works, Water and Sewer people busy. Also, we did have a problem with one of the pumps. When one of the pumps goes down, because they are 100% spares, there's only 2 pumps in each of those. What Kevin likes to do, Kevin Hamill is our water and sewer manager. What he likes to do is he has a temporary pump there just in case we lose the second pump, because then we would not have any way to pump out. And Tokwa does take not only all of the south area, but it takes all of Mialakwa as well. Everything that goes into Mialakwa is pumped through the Tokwa pump station, lift station as well.
And Chattooga Point comes in
And
there,
Chattooga
too.
Point, Chattooga Coves and all of that. So, yes.
So as a sidelight to this, I want to add that I worked for the Massachusetts Water Resources up in Boston for 32 years and retired from there and moved down here 2 years ago. So that kind of thing is interesting to me.
Well, we've got plans to upgrade the entire system, but we can't make an upgrade. We can do obviously the odor control, but we can't do the pump upgrade until the main pump station's upgraded, because all those feed into that, and we'd overwhelm it if we just upgraded the feeders.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm Dave Whelan with Timeless Telecom, and I'd just like to thank Scott for mentioning us, and remind everybody, if they don't know much about Timeless Teleco Foundation, see us in the back, a little self-promotion area. And if you're interested in purchasing a paver, we got the forms in the back as well. Thanks.
Thanks, Dave. Any more for Scott? Thank you, Scott. Appreciate you.
All right. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Mike. Appreciate the time.
So good afternoon. I'm Matt Benoit. I'm the interim general manager and director of Public Works, and I wanted to talk to you about our 250th celebration activities. So the Tellico Village 250th celebration aims to provide some unique experiences at our amenities that complement and encourage July 4th events. So our goal throughout has been to provide events and opportunities that fit within the things that we're good at. The 250th celebration is not intended to exclude or trample on traditional neighborhood events. To the contrary, we strive to provide a listing of available events and opportunities sponsored by volunteers and organizations so that cool, fun things are available for everyone to enjoy. So first, for the golf opportunities, on Friday, July the 3rd at the Toqua Golf Club, we will have the 250 step-aside shootout. Included some important things on there, but I highlighted in red the most important one, free beer after play. Of course, national anthem, that's all important. We will have prizes for closest to the pin, men and women, on the 17th hole. Appreciate our sponsor, Merrill Lynch, for that. And an additional 250 hole-in-one prize. On Friday, July the 3rd through Sunday, July the 5th at the Tanasi Golf Club, we will have the 1776 Simulator Challenge from 2 to 5 each day. If you haven't experienced the simulator, this is going to be an excellent opportunity. It's free entry, 4 shots at closest to the pin on the simulator, and again, a $250 prize to the winner and $250 hole-in-one prize. It helps us promote our simulator traffic and awareness, and I think everybody, I mean, even if you're not much of a golfer, it's a cool thing to go check out on that weekend. So park and recreation opportunities, I believe they're still planning it, but some pickleball and tennis tournaments. We plan to plant 250 native plants along our trails. Simon came up with the idea of a field day, 1 day, less active options, cornhole, bocce ball, lawn bowling, disc golf. We will have group fitness themed classes, a pool party at Chota. The Patriot Games, we will divide into teams for the more conventional old school activities, dodgeball, tug of war, capture the flag. Mike Lackey's going to be on my team, and we're still open to 2 others. Gig, you're in? Fantastic. Wellness challenges, starting this month, we're tracking hours of exercise leading up to July the 4th with prizes and recognition for 125 and 250 hours of activities. This is everything, folks. Pickleball, tennis, group fitness, trail building, any of those kinds of things, and that will also conclude with that pool party celebration at Chota. Food service, we're still formulating some ideas in this area, but opportunities that are being discussed include 250 themed special menu offerings with daily specials and 250 themed special cocktail offerings. Again, Tanasi Lakeside Grill is trending towards an opening around July the 1st. Provided we can get it open around that period of time, it's going to be an exciting opportunity, hopefully, for residents to be able to come in and enjoy the new restaurant. So for all those who want to get out of the heat and come enjoy some history and learning opportunities, we will have 3 opportunities on Tuesday, one on Tuesday, June the 9th, Tuesday, June the 23rd, and Friday, July the 3rd. Special thanks to Mike Thornton and his willingness to provide some inside in the cool air opportunities to do some history and learning opportunities around the 250th celebration. So in closing, our intention is to provide opportunities to share and experience this monumental time with our neighbors. If volunteers and organizations are planning or interested in planning an event, know that we have every intention to be inclusive and help publicize the event. Would like to encourage that at any opportunity. We're doing the things we're good at, but if there's something a neighborhood is doing and you want to invite others, we're all for publicizing it. There's no intent to exclude here. We're excited for this opportunity, so please be watching the Telegram for more information as we get closer to that event. Be happy to answer any questions anybody might have.
Fireworks.
You know what? Skylar told me before he left that he has booked fireworks for July the 4th, I believe, here at the Yacht Club. I was just nervous to say that until I could confirm it.
That's outside fireworks this time, right, Matt?
Yeah.
However, has that wedding been canceled for the 4th of July?
Again, Carrie, I need to verify that. That's something Skylar left me with, and he was absolutely dead certain about it, but when it came time to putting the presentation together, I couldn't verify, so we'll get that tidied up.
Seeing no others. Thanks, Matt. Thank you.
Where's old Mike Giffin? There he is, okay.
Hi, I'm Mike Giffin. I'm the Architectural Control Manager, and I hope everybody had sleet and snow on their bingo card today, because I didn't. I know we have a lot to cover today, so I'll keep this short and sweet. Last month, we launched the Customer Experience Satisfaction Surveys, focusing on your experience here in Tellico Village. This month, we launched the Property Owner Satisfaction Survey. Let me start with a quick update on the Customer Experience Satisfaction Survey. As a reminder, these surveys are available through QR codes. They're located at all our amenities, parks and rec, recreation, and golf. And Larry, I got your A-frames up there at the Wellness Center, so thanks, Simon, for that. I don't know if you've seen them or not yet. This is it's intentionally simple. They're 1 to 5 star ratings with an option to leave comments. If you'd like to provide additional feedback, those comments are often where we learn the most. Now let's take a look at the results from the first full months of responses. When we shared this last month, our overall satisfaction rating was at 82%. Our goal is 85% customer satisfaction rating across all amenities. I'm proud to present that our current rating as it stands now is at 86.8% across all amenities, so that's awesome. Many residents are having good experiences across the village, but one of the benefits of this survey, it also allows us to look a little deeper. When we break the data down by amenity, we see that some areas are already exceeding the goal by a wide margin. And you can see in these areas right here in Parks and Rec, and golf, and then in service. Oh, there's a pointer. Let me see, yeah. So right here in Parks and Recreation, we're exceeding expectations right there. Also in golf, and we're almost right there as well in golf. That is, I can't hardly see that. That is condition, pace, and staff, and cleanliness, staff, and equipment right here in Parks and Rec. We do need some improvement over here in our restaurants and the quality and value, but we will get there. You go, Mike. All right. 3 bottom on the far left. That is cleanliness, staff, and equipment. Yep. Okay, at the same time, a few areas are still below our 85% target, which tells us there are opportunities to improve, and honestly, that's exactly why we launched these surveys. The goal isn't perfection. The goal is visibility and progress. This is our first full month of data, and it gives us a clear picture of what's working well and where we can focus our attention moving forward. So again, thank you to everyone who has taken the time to participate so far. It's encouraging to see that feedback is already helping us move in the right direction. Now, building on that success, we're introducing another way to gather feedback, this time focused on the overall living experience here in Tellico Village. This is our new property owner satisfaction survey. The goal is simple: to better understand the property owner, our experience, and identify opportunities to improve living in Tellico Village. The survey launched March 10th, Each month, 100 surveys will be sent to randomly selected property owners, and we're aiming to receive at least 50 response each month. Now, if we get to a point to where we're not receiving 50 respondents, we're going to uptick how many emails we send out. So if we send out 150 next month, that's because we didn't get the number that we had thought we were going to get, the goal that we're shooting for. This gives us enough responses to make the results statistically meaningful. The survey itself is pretty straightforward. It includes 13, here we go. The survey itself is pretty straightforward. It includes 13 core questions using a combination of 4 scale questions from very dissatisfied to very satisfied questions and 9 open-ended questions for you to share additional thoughts. Those comments give us the most helpful insights. The results will be shared with, the results will be shared, the results will be shared with POA leadership, and they'll help identify areas where we have opportunities to improve service and the overall experience of living here in Tellico Village. And just to make it a little more fun, you have the opportunity to win a $25 gift card. Now, you have to enter your email and to get a chance to win this $25 gift card. And we may have took a few liberties here. You can get a $25 gift card to the restaurants, golf, or the rec center. So whichever one you like. So you'll be helping us improve the village, and you might even win something. So you got that going for you. So if you happen to receive one of these surveys in your email, we hope you'll take a few minutes to complete it. It's a very simple way to make sure your voice is a part of the conversation. I would like to mention that if you are looking in your email, I forgot to put it on the PowerPoint, that it will say TV POA Survey Property Owner Satisfaction. So be looking for that, guys. And with that, I told you I'd keep it short. Thank you for your time.
Mike, I got a quick question. Nice job, by the way.
Thank you.
And just from the perspective of a board member, I would say this is extraordinarily important. Previously, we have had to make too many decisions by guesswork because we didn't have data. And getting this data is going to make a huge positive difference. So the more we get more people to respond, the better the data will be. I had 2 small questions about the restaurant survey. How to say this gently, but I brought my wife and we had dinner at the yacht club, I think a week before last. She'd been cooking up a storm and I figured she needed a break. And there were no survey cards on any table upstairs or downstairs. Somebody ought to fix that. Somebody else can speak about the other 2 restaurants, but we need to make sure the cards are out there. And I would be curious if you know what the ratio is between how many people ate in the restaurant in a given period and how many are doing the survey. We probably need to bring up the numbers, but you'd start with knowing how many.
Correct, David. We definitely need to know those numbers, and I do not have that information.
In addition to the restaurants, there's also with Toast, there's also a QR code on there that you can do a survey. So it's almost like we're doing duplicate there. So it would be interesting how those results could be pulled into yours, if you can do that.
And that's a great point. Is it okay if I jump in?
Go ahead, Joe.
So we looked at the Toast survey, and we're doing a 5-star. They're doing like a thumbs up or a thumbs down. So they weren't, because we talked about this. There's certain information that comes in the Toast survey that allows them to determine who the cook was, the server, right? Which the one that we just went over, Mike went over, doesn't do that. However, it doesn't give the 5 stars and what have you, so we can't really compare, are they apples to apples? Because if we thought running those in parallel, that they would tell us the same thing, then we could, look at doing exactly what you said, consolidate. We're going to do it just the same, even though it's not apples to apples, but want to see what the consistency is. Of course, one of the other concerns is that some of the surveys are taken right at the table. Don't know if that influences the ratings. So these are things we talked about. I'm sorry, Michael, I didn't mean to jump over you.
So the question is, can that Toast survey be customized? You can? because if it can be customized to do what you need to, that would be easy. That would be the easiest way to do. Get the information out to the cook and the chef and the hostess, and the additional information that you want would be great. So, thanks.
Hey, just to speak to David's question about the yacht club, so they kind of felt like, the food service felt like having the cards on the yacht club wasn't really the atmosphere they were trying to promote. So what they're supposed to be doing, and I'll check with them, is the server is supposed to drop a card off with a check. That's what they're supposed to be doing for you to take the survey. So although they're not sitting on the table, they should be served up. So I will check on that.
We had a question online about a property owner customer satisfaction survey. I know that this is not apples to apples, but there are surveys, there are QR codes posted on doors of like the pro shop and the restaurants and stuff like that. So I understand not at the yacht club, but you do get a card. So you can answer those surveys. It's just not the overall customer satisfaction survey. That you would have to get an email for, correct?
Correct.
Thank you.
Correct, that's it.
And then, Michael, question, the property owner one, so you were showing us some, that was a beta test, I believe, because it doesn't go officially until, I think, April?
It's out right now.
Right, but
Yeah.
we're going to expand it, I believe, to include not just those three, not just restaurant, golf, and rec. I think we're going to add Public Works.
Correct.
And then POA offices, I believe?
Correct. Matt and I are still working on the format to get that out. We have looked at door hangers with a QR code on there, and we're still talking about solutions there.
And then for the property owner, so this is the beta test we're starting now, so maybe we'll be able to share, it'll do the same thing. All the residents are gonna see the results every month, correct?
Yes, we have two Jedi survey masters working on this, John Villa and Bruce Polanski, and they have an excellent data collection system on this. I mean, they are top shelf.
And then the difference between the customer experience surveys, which are very short, 3 questions.
Yeah.
And we have a goal of 85. The property owner doesn't have a goal, right? This year is about establishing a baseline. Is that correct?
It is, but we would like to see 50 responses a month.
Right, but as far as the level of satisfaction of
Correct.
those responses.
Correct.
Is going to be without a specific goal.
Correct.
That's establishing our baseline.
Correct. You are correct, Joel.
But you had a comment, and I just absolutely love. I had to write it down. It's about visibility and progress. And that is super powerful, because my greatest grief with filling out surveys, I never know what's done with them. I fill them out everywhere I go, and I never see the results. Now I get to see results. I get to see what the actual ratings are. That's powerful. Because, like I love to say, people react to what you inspect, not what you expect. And this is great. So thank you for that.
You're
It's
welcome.
really good.
Yeah, GMC never shares the results of my surveys with them. I just get coupons in the mail.
Unfortunately, neither does Honda.
Linda Garza from Toqua. Nice job. My question for residents, or just how do you get involved in these surveys? So in other words, you say that you're sending them out via email. Well, how do residents register and make sure that they're part of that email pool to get the survey?
I'm going to help with Mike. I'm going to help Mike with this one.
Yeah.
You just want the 25 bucks.
That's,
So although we can't be 100% sure that we have everyone, we're about 98.8% sure that we do. So we basically took our email databases from Golf, Rec, the Telegram, and merged them all together. I don't think I'm missing anybody. Deduped all the duplicates, and we have a very large list now. So it should encompass the vast majority of everyone.
Beth, did you consider adding to that database what's in the directory that we get, every 6 months or whatever it is?
We
Not
don't get that
everybody's put
digitally.
their email in there, but a lot of people have.
No, we don't get that digitally. We only get it hard copy, just like everybody else. And it's also riddled with mistakes as we get the calls about, even though we don't publish it.
That's a great question. So, Mike, what Can you explain what we're doing to make sure how those 100 people are selected?
Sure, and I hope I can explain it in a way that everybody understands. But, so we collected all the emails, and Bruce put together a randomized numbers, 1 to however many, 10,000, okay? And then Beth has the emails, and Bruce will he will generate a randomized list of numbers, send them to Beth, and Beth will put those emails with those numbers, and those will be the ones that are selected.
And if I understand it correctly, they only do this shuffling once a year, right? That way, there's no duplication.
Right,
You
and
can't
I'm
get the survey
color-coding
twice in a year.
Right.
Correct.
And I'm color coding them, so I know what we've sent.
Anything else for Mike? Michael, thank you.
Just one quick question. I was just wondering how you're incorporating new email addresses that come in throughout the year. Are you doing that, or will they be just added in for the next year's surveys?
Well done, Michael. Let's open it up to the floor.
How about that one? Good afternoon, Mike. Gary Norgren, my wife and I live in Tanasi. We've been golfing here at Tellico for 25 years. Before I start, I'd like to thank Mike, you for reminding us all of the guidelines. Okay, I'll do my best to adhere to them and the timeline. Unfortunately, I'll probably have to rotate to the back to get all my questions answered. I'd also like to thank the board for sharing the February 27th update pertaining to the general manager search, and I quote, "to engage the right expert firm to assist us with preparing for that search." So before I ask my questions, let me share with you where I received the information that was the basis for my Saturday email. Last Tuesday, I was asked about the rumor by my golf group. Then on Saturday, I received a call asking me the same question. Was I aware of the board's decision to interview golf management companies? So based on the second call, as Golf Advisory Committee Chairman, I decided to call the Golf Advisory Committee Board Liaison, Carrie Brown, to get the truth. I know Carrie not only from the GAC, but he's in one of my weekly golf groups. Carrie's a man of integrity, and I was sure he would answer my question honestly. I asked Carrie if it's true that the majority of expert firms being interviewed to assist with the general manager search are golf management companies. Carrie confirmed that to be true and shared the rationale for this direction by the board. I informed Carrie that the choice to interview golf management companies is not consistent with the information in the February 27th teleflash, and that I would be sharing my concerns with fellow golfers and be at the town hall to ask the board to explain their current direction. I also asked Carrie to make sure you all were aware of my concern. So, Mike, help me understand why golf management companies are being interviewed and not companies with executive search experience to assist us search for general manager of our $40 million operation. Yeah.
Real simple. I can't talk about that. It's in contractual negotiations. There's legal ramifications and personnel ramifications. I can't address that at this time.
Okay. I guess, next question is, I assume that you believe then that your term expert firm is fulfilling your commitment to transparency.
In that same space, we're in contract negotiations with them now. Every one of the board is engaged with them in addition to our legal staff. So we are working in that space. They don't even know who we're talking to, other than themselves.
Okay. Quickly, I'm running out of time. Last year, you guys committed to creating a general manager job description. Has that been done?
That's part of their task coming up.
That's their task, not yours now. Okay.
The last time we hired a general manager, and not interim, and I'll touch on this, 2 members of the board at that time reached out to a executive search firm. When you talk about somebody who runs everything that we have, we'd have to go steal somebody from one of the other Cooper communities.
Okay.
We are unique beyond unique. We have water and sewer, we have roads, we have field maintenance, we have restaurants, we have restaurant maintenance, we have restaurant cleaning.
Public Works.
Yeah, Public Works. I mean, we can docks, we can go on ad nauseum. About the only thing we don't really have is a police force.
Right. You're basically making my case. That's why we don't understand why golf management companies would be able to encompass.
I didn't say
all
that. You said that.
Okay, I did say that.
Yeah, you didn't
Okay.
hear me. You didn't
Next-
hear me say we're hiring
Okay.
golf management companies.
No, I didn't hear you say that. I didn't hear you say that. Okay, last question before I pause, because I'm at 14 seconds. Are you willing to share with the community the weighted criteria that you will use to make your selection?
Not at this time, no. It's still in contract negotiations.
I don't want to know what the scores are, the criteria you're going to use.
No.
You're not willing to share that?
No.
Okay. I'll be back.
I'll be here.
Mike, can I give a little?
Yeah.
Before.
Okay,
Pat-
my name's
Pat-
Pat White. I
Pat-
am a,
Hey, Pat, let's give David a second.
Before you come,
I'm
I
sorry.
want to say what is possible to say to Gary's question. And none of this is specific. Oh, sorry, I got to move my coffee. None of this is specific to, as Mike said, the bylaws apply to contract negotiations and personnel and other things. 7 years ago, as I understand, our Long-Range Planning Advisory Committee advocated unsuccessfully that we ought to have benchmarking and review of the way we run the village to see if we could do things better. I think there's a general consensus among a lot of people that that would be a good idea, but boards at the time, there were members on boards through the last 7, 8 years who advocated for that to happen, and, that was refused. That's on the board's mind here. I'll just say personally, I think that's a necessary prerequisite to even designing a search for a general manager. If you've ever been through, if you belong to a church that's going to hire a new pastor, the smart churches, before they do that, take a look at themselves and think, okay, who are we now? Maybe different than what we were 15 years ago. What do we want? Where do we want to go? And when they've done that, then they think, okay, in light of that, what characteristics do we want in a pastor? And then they go looking for that. That's the kind of thing that's behind this. The other thing I'll say, and this is, again, just general knowledge, there are probably hundreds of companies in the country that in some sense manage residential amenity-based communities, more or less like ours. Although Mike is right, we're darn close to unique, both in size and in, all the things Mike talked about. And if you were going to start a company that was going to do that, it's pretty likely you would want to either have the capacity to manage golf courses or to know about it, because an awful lot of residential communities, their big central amenity is golf. You wouldn't get very many clients if you didn't offer that. That doesn't mean that all these companies only run golf courses. There are many companies who, they do some golf, but they do all the other kinds of amenities we have. They might run back office. They're capable of doing benchmarking and giving advice, right across a whole community like ours. So the fact that a company does some golf does not mean that's what they specialize in, or it certainly doesn't mean what we would be looking for. We're looking for what long-range planning recommended 7 years ago, which is somebody to really look at how we do everything, and could we do it better, and could we, economize while keeping up the quality of what we have. That's just a general background. I hope that helps a bit.
I agree, 100%. Agreed the last 6-8 years ago when I was on the board with exactly what you said. My question, though, to clarify what my friend Gary was asking, is maintaining your non-disclosure agreement, maintaining that, this question can be answered within the confines of that restriction. What is the rationale to choosing a golf management company versus a headhunter company?
A, we haven't said we're hiring a golf management company, so I'll leave it at that.
Okay.
And then, as opposed to the headhunter company, we didn't have a lot of success with that last time. We want someone who understands our uniqueness and brings us the candidates, and Matt's going to be on the list. But we have to do a due diligence.
Absolutely.
I can't just crown Matt, because that would indicate that I haven't done my job. And you keep bringing up a golf management company. What we're trying, and the whole reason for not using a headhunter company is we didn't have success with it. They got their fee, and we didn't get a real successful tenure.
Actually, we did have a great success with it, but the outcome of the person that went outside the realm of the responsibilities that the board set, now I'm on video.
Yeah.
And I had an NDA too.
Welcome to my world.
So one of the questions, and this should not be within your NDA, is one of the organizations you're looking at called Troon?
Pat, I'm going to tell you, they don't even know who we're talking to in their opponents. So I'm not going to talk about any of them. I'm not going to expose this village to what could potentially be a multi-million-dollar lawsuit.
Absolutely,
because
100% agree. Now, the last question, just to tell you that I personally am concerned about this and am willing to talk about my years on the Golf Advisory Committee, the MGA, and the board with any one of you individually, because you need to know. Don't answer the question, but hopefully you're not interviewing a prior employee of this village. Don't answer the question.
Hey, Matt, you want me to run Matt off already? Is that what the deal is?
All right, Gary Norgan again, just with a few additional comments, and then I'll let it go. The reason many of us are here is a concern we have over, well, let me just go back 1 second. David, I agree 100% with what you said. We should be benchmarking, and if that's part of this process, great, because we really do need to go into this right. I still would question.
And that, just to chime in on that, that ability is what we're looking for. We're not looking for somebody to run golf, to run the back office, to run.
Okay.
We're looking for, take a look at us, tell us where we can do better.
Peace.
And not every, as Matt alluded to, or Mike alluded to, not every company does that. There are major firms who specialize in, they could bring us what they think is the right general manager, but they don't take a look at the community first and do benchmarking, and we think that's got to come first.
Okay. I still question, back to the point of confidentiality, I still question, and I'm sure Joel has extensive experience with this, creating a rubric that you're going to use to measure these firms that you're going to make this your selection with, okay? I don't understand why you wouldn't at least share with the village the criteria, not how they're rated, but the matrix that you're going to use to evaluate these firms. I don't understand why that would be confidential, but that's just my opinion. You don't have to respond. All right, just a couple statements of why we're so energized, and I think it builds a little bit on what Pat said. A golf management company takeover of Tellico Village will have significant impact on our current Tellico Village members' golf experience. The research I've done shows the need for management companies to both raise greens fees and outside play to cover their management fee, resulting in reduced availability for our current members and a higher cost per round. My last question, and then I'll have a statement, is if we do, again, I don't know who you're talking to, but if you do pick a golf management company and they give you recommendations on how to proceed, I would think that that company would then be excluded from any further consideration, like becoming our golf management company, because of a conflict of interest. Again, my opinion, you don't have to comment.
I'd like to comment on that real quick.
Okay.
We are hiring these guys to help us develop what we need in a GM,
Okay.
and subsequently help us find that unique person.
Okay.
We are not looking to hire a company to take over this village. That is not on the radar at all right now.
Okay.
So our entire, I know how to run a construction company.
Okay.
I know how to run big projects. I know how to read books and all that other stuff. I don't know how to do this, and I'm smart enough to know that I don't know how to do this.
Okay.
But I'm smart enough to go look for somebody that I think can do this for us,
Okay.
and that is not just a straight headhunter bunch.
Okay.
But we are not looking to outsource
Okay.
anything.
Mr. President, may I ask a question, please? I think that maybe for clarification and in the entrance of full transparency, I think there's some confusion based on the communication that we sent out as a board saying that we must conduct a well-designed search for our next permanent general manager. There are several steps in between there from now until we get to the point of selecting a permanent general manager, and I think it might help for people to understand the process. And I don't think explaining the process would in any way compromise anything that needs to be kept confidential. Your thoughts?
The process that we are using is very simple. We've reached out to 8. I'm still learning. At that point, we qualified them we looked at their unique qualifications. We have interviewed, I'm not going to go into that but more than one. And the whole board's interviewed them. We've put our individual rankings together as a board in addition to the lawyer's rankings. While he doesn't have a vote, I appreciate his input. I want to try to avoid any legal pitfalls that we might have. We are getting together as a board in the near future to help determine the prime 2 candidates, and we will interview them. We would like to bring them out here and let them see what this really is and make sure that the candidates are the ones that we want, and that they jive with the community. Not old, I didn't mean it that way. I just, they appreciate our amenities and they learn what we do. We haven't got to that point yet. It's coming up. What would we say? Sunday, I got everybody's recommendations and sent them all out. I asked us all to rank individually. Rank who they thought was best, and we'll bring that to the table among the 7 of us with the lawyer, and make sure that we agree on the top 2.
Mike, I would add to that. I was trying to answer Carla's question before, and I thought I did, but you can get it better. Let me try to do that. Basically, there's 3 steps in this process, and as Mike said, the end goal of the whole thing is to get us a superstar general manager who will make us remain the gold standard for communities like this, and will be a huge asset to us for years. To get to that goal, there's sort of 3 steps in the process. The first one is find a firm with the experience and the expertise to benchmark us and to give us recommendations based on that. Right across everything we do, We're not after somebody to run anything. We're after somebody to take a look and give us expert advice. And then the second stage, after you've got that, is to design the right search for a general manager, which is not a super simple thing. And then the third stage is run that search and end up with the right general manager. That's so step, that would be it.
But I think that there was a step left out in that, and that is in conjunction with that firm, an interim executive leader, right? That's an important part of this,
Yeah,
of
it
the
is.
process.
I didn't see it as a step, but.
Well, but it's part of choosing
It
the
is-
firm.
Yeah, it is, yeah. The board concluded that as we go through this, I mean, that's going to take months. If I were guessing, it would take a year, but, circumstances alter cases. But just the benchmarking, will not happen in 2-3 weeks. That's going to take some months to be done right. And we concluded that we need what we're calling an interim executive leader to do 3 things. To be the leader of the benchmarking and, be with us full-time, but be coordinating with the firm and sort of taking direction from the board and giving that to the firm. How should we be benchmarked? What are we getting? What questions, running that process. So that person has to work with the firm whose experts are coming to evaluate this thing we do and that thing we do and the other thing we do. And then that interim executive leader would be in charge of designing the next stage, designing the right search, and then finally helping us execute the search. And because of you need the interim executive leader to work hand in glove with the firm, that's one choice with 2 aspects. It wouldn't work very well. You get an interim executive leader from firm A, but you're going to have the benchmarking done by firm B. It's a package. So you have to think about, as Mike said, we're going to bring people, and part of that, experts will tell you 70% of the information you get from somebody is nonverbal when you're physically in their presence. Being on Zoom is better than just being on the phone, but it's still not the whole thing. In person still matters. I'm getting more information from you than I would on the phone and vice versa. So literally, in person is important. But part of that choice is, okay, is this the firm that has the best fit for us? So you got to weigh that up. So I didn't see that as a step, but you're right, it's in the package.
I do think it's an important element of the process.
Okay,
Hey,
so.
Gary, I'm sorry.
Sorry.
I want to just try to help clarify this a little bit. So David, thank you. That's a very detailed explanation. I'm going to very greatly try to simplify this. Step 1 is we're going to determine who we want to hear as an interim executive leader. They're not just doing benchmarking, they're actually going to be leading the village, okay? Step 2 is the firm that brings this person forward will be providing advisory services. Those advisory services will help us look at everything from the back office to our amenities. Third, that person is now going to be the gateway to helping us get the permanent general manager, somewhere around a 12-month time frame for those 3 things. Does that make sense? Okay, thank you.
Mike, can I say something? Gary, I think in this process, and I think they explained it very well, I do not want to be part of what happened in the past. I'm going to tell you that. People that know me know I was very vocal on Nextdoor about it. I sit here and looked at 990s. We're still paid Chet $206,000. We paid Mitzi $253,000. Winston's still on payroll for $152,000 as of last year. And I know this is common knowledge.
Larry, just so they don't panic, that's 2024.
Yeah, okay,
990.
2024.
So,
But-
it's getting better, but it's not over.
I don't want to go through that. I don't think the residents want to go through that. We're trying to do a process where we get benchmarking, get someone in, get analysis, do a good search for the general manager at that time, not just rush one in here now to take off. And that's the purpose. But these numbers, every time I look at them, they drive me crazy, and I'm sure they do other people too. We're trying to avoid that.
All right, so everything I've heard is great. I wish that you all were a little more descriptive on February 27th, expert firm, because now that the rumor has broke that you are talking to golf management firms, and I'm going to close on that statement, it's created all this fear that you're doing something different. So if you're truly looking for someone to help you find the long-term exec, great. And hopefully we never have to have this discussion. Hopefully I'm not back here in 12 months plus another 6 because we're now looking at outsourcing our golf management because you've now learned something new. I hope we're not having this conversation ever again. And the reason for it that is because we have a great golf experience here. We have 2 of the best golf professionals, meaning professionals in industry, Casey and Wells, in the country. And I don't want them to feel that they're in any way, shape, or form at risk because we have the best of the best. Now, my last comment, I have 10 seconds left, and this is for you, Mike. One of the companies you're talking to is not professional enough to not keep this quiet, and they're talking to residents within our community who they've had past experiences with. And so that's part of the reason I'm standing up here, is because all the companies you're talking to aren't holding themselves to the same standard that you're holding yourself to. I just don't know that that's going on.
Appreciate it. We'll talk to them.
You answered most of my questions. Thank you very much, because you can't answer these. And I understand, but I just want you to be aware is exactly what he just said. There will be follow-up. You talked about Mitzi and you talked about the salaries and all that. I would hate to be standing here asking, you paid what for this company? You paid what? And you can't tell me how much, but it can't be cheap, fellas. So if you blow it, you're going to have a very disgruntled group of Tellico villagers standing up here in line again talking about how much we blew on this. Because you can't predict that the person that you hire, no matter how much research you do, no matter who you choose, no matter what face-to-face time, when that guy comes in here and takes that $20 bill off of a wreck and sticks it in there and goes, I don't know, and you fire him, you can't control what they do. You follow? Once you hire them, you can't control, and you can't then turn around and blame somebody like a headhunter or whoever, because they're a person. And I've lived this. I've hired the very best of the best to work for me, and within a month, within a month, the person's doing something idiotic, fraternization or whatever, because now, we've all lived through it. So you can't ask me, you can't answer the question, how much? Be aware. You've answered the question, how long? So we're going to have an interim for a year.
Maybe.
Maybe. And then.
More or less, you can't predict that.
Yeah, okay.
You're asking us to predict, Pat, and
No.
if I could predict, I wouldn't
just-
be sitting here.
I'm just repeating.
I'll tell you that right now.
I'm just repeating what was said. What was said was it could be up to a year, something like that. So, okay, so I can live with that. And I'm sure most of us can, to get a good general manager. And we can't talk about how much it's going to cost. So, thank you very much, David. Again, just like with my friend Gary, I agree. And I've lived it, and I've breathed it, and I do not envy your search. It's tough.
That's why they pay us the big bucks.
Mr. President, I'd like to address something that Mr. Norgren said, and that is his concern for our our current employees. And that extends, it's very important in golf, and it extends beyond golf, because we have, as Mike stated pretty early on in this conversation, a very complex and unique community here. And so it's very, nigh on impossible to find somebody who has that breadth of experience. And so they'll be leaning on our directors, our departmental directors, our employees, our staff, our people who have served us so well and who are so valuable to us. And I just really like to send that message to our employees about how much you are appreciated and how much you're valued. And when somebody comes in and doesn't have that breadth of experience, because it's just, like I said, nigh on impossible, we're thankful that we have good quality people here to aid in that process.
And I would just add to that, I mean, Pat is right, there is no ultimate guarantee when you're searching to hire anybody. We will do the best we can, but we have asked and will continue to ask probing questions about how possible people have handled staff in places they have managed and helped through transitions before, and ask for details about that. We are looking at what Carl is talking about, ability to not only staff, I mean, the staff is really important, but the ultimate importance here is all the residents. Ideally, we will find the right company and the right interim executive leader who's really good at relating to residents, to relating to staff, dare I say it, relating to the board, who will be directing what goes on here. That ability to be interpersonal, appropriate interpersonally, and still do the job, we're not blind to that.
Well, I'm going to shift gears here. My name's Jim Staling here, and with the boating season coming up, the question I have for the board, or for anybody that has the answer, is we have a tremendous webpage out there, Tellico Village webpage, and I paid my money to get on the list for a jet ski slip, and I'm looking for the list of people who have the slips, that are on the list for that slip, and how can we track where we are in that process?
I've been on that list.
Yes.
Typically, what I did was I'd just call them up once a month, and they'll tell you right where you sit. Call the main number.
I'd like to see it published so that we could see where it is and where we stand. Number 46 on the list, are we progressing up? Are any slips opening up? Something we could see, just go online and.
Let me look at it, and I'm ignorant of how it runs now, and I know when I came in here 5 years ago, it was a phone call for me once a month. I don't know where they're at with it now, Jim. I don't know what we can do with that. And part of that is we've got to have everybody's names on it. And I don't know that if we publish the list, how would we block out everybody's names? Because there's some information in there that people don't want getting out. So I think that's the reason the phone call process was working. It's not because I'm sure they would like to automate it, but I think there might be, Judy, and correct me if I'm wrong here, I think there might be some, privacy issues, but if you know who's in front of you and where they're going, and I don't know that we'll be able to help you there.
Mike, can I offer a small suggestion about that? I sort of lived through this, not at the fancy level of a boat, but I owned a co-op apartment in DC. It was a perfect location for me. I got to walk to work. They built the building in the 50s, and there was not a parking space in the garage for nearly everybody in the building, and so there was a waiting list. And exactly this same issue, came up, and what they did was they gave everybody who was on the list an identifier, a code. And then you could call up, or you could even see the list. Okay, person XYZ was 46, now they've gone up to 44. You're the only one who knows that's you. So maybe we could do something like that.
Let me add one thing. I was looking through my notes to see if I had it. Caleb, I think, gave us a pretty good number on the list last time, was going to reach out to some about renewal. We did not have, thank you, we did not have a MAC meeting last month because we don't have an update of information. April will be we'll have more information because they just didn't have enough to report for a meeting this month, and I apologize. I wrote it down, and if I say the number's probably wrong, but I thought it was 47. It's probably not right, okay? But they were going to reach out to some to see if they really wanted to renew and try to get some people moved up. I remember that from the meeting, but I'm sorry, I don't have it in my notes. It's in
Okay, I
another note.
appreciate that, but according, my point being is, the confidential thing, I understand that, Mike, but we have a directory that you can get any information you want from me and
That's
all
not
the
maintained,
different-
that's not maintained by the board. That's not maintained by the POA.
Yeah, but it was still out there.
Yeah, but that's volunteered, and we don't maintain that.
Okay.
You got the internet, too. I mean, I can
Oh,
find
yeah.
it, I mean, let's be
Yeah.
realistic.
I mean, we're talking about a boat slip or a
I
jet
understand,
ski
but
slip.
I can't give away that information. When you sign up for that directory, there's a specific release that allows them to publish that, and we have, and correct me if I'm wrong, Beth, but we don't have anything to do with the directory going out. Beth? We don't have anything to do with that directory, do we?
I'm sorry, hearing aids. I didn't hear. Oh, okay, okay. Well, just something
Let's-
for us
well,
here to
let us look at it.
understand, So, okay, appreciate it, thank you.
Thanks, Jim. You're not from around here, are you?
Hey, Tom Farrell. Just a quick clarification, just so I understand. As regards to the GM situation, you can't give us the job description or criteria for that role because you're developing that in conjunction with the search firm and the consultancy firms that you're interviewing. And you can't give us the criteria for bringing on the search firms or the consultancy because you're already dealing with them and there's non-disclosure. Is that correct? Thanks.
Just to clarify, that's, folks, why we elect a board. This is not for citizens, residents to do. That's why we elect a board, a representative form of government.
Thanks, Pat.
I dug you out of that hole, didn't I?
Pat, I owe you a beer.
But again, I think everybody's kind of confused from the standpoint of what's confidential in the process. I think Joel brought out some points relative to the process. I think it sounds in my mind that you're way, way past the beginning of the process. And the connection that I'm trying to make is the board said, in order for us to spend money, regardless of the department, regardless of the function, you have to go out and get 3 bids. Were 3 bids a part of this process?
Yes.
Okay. So the next step that Matt or Simon or anybody would go through is bring to the board or the FAC or the advisory group that they're associated with, here's what I need, here's the reason why I need it, and here's the estimated cost, and these are the suppliers that I think can do it. Correct? Is that what the process is today?
No.
Why is it not that today?
Contract negotiations and personnel matters
minute, whoa,
are
time out.
confidential
You're-
under the bylaws.
You
So
went
this will
way
not
past the
run.
process,
This
though.
will not run through an advisory committee. This is being done by the board as it should be. Pat's absolutely right.
But the question that I had was, is that what the other departments are doing? Correct? That's what the other departments are required to do.
I don't know.
The other departments don't hire people.
They hire firms. They hire companies, correct?
With the guidance of the board.
So an engineering firm to go out and do a design of the Kahidi Pump Station is a firm, correct?
We are in negotiations. Linda, I can't go much farther than that.
I guess I'm just I'm not trying to be stubborn. I'm trying to connect for everybody. How did you get to the point that you're in negotiations without being transparent about how you got to that process? And the process, to your point, Dave, does not specify the companies or the criteria, but to go from what was quoted in engaging the right expert firm to assist in preparing for the search to we're ready to, I mean, that announcement came out on the 27th of February to we are now ready to write a contract. And then it further goes.
Whoa. That's not accurate. We still haven't defined it. We don't know who we're writing a contract with.
That's what we're trying to understand, but you're saying that it's all confidential. What is confidential? What's confidential about what you're doing?
Read the bylaws. Contract negotiations are confidential. We're not going to depart from that.
But Dave, how did you get to the point that you're creating a contract already without talking about the processes getting there?
You're asking about a process that's confidential, and as Mike says, I can't talk to that.
Okay, let me go back to what you stated in the February board meeting in regards to the Code of Ethics and non-disclosures. And that was clearly stated that the board shall not offer confidential information as described below to third parties, nor intentionally communicate false or misleading information that may exploit the integrity of the POA's governance processes or decisions rendered therefore by. In accordance to Article 4, Section 6 of the bylaws, confidential information includes contract negotiations, which I agree is what you're talking about. Nobody's asking you to divulge the contract negotiations. Personnel matters. Okay, personnel matters was, I quote from Mike, personnel matters are obviously is someone who has challenged to whether or not they are being hired here. We're not talking about personnel matters. You're talking about hiring somebody, but it's not a personnel matter. And legal matters are, again, typically something where somebody's coming after the POA and you have to defend it. So, again, you're in contract negotiations way before.
We are not in contract negotiations.
Okay, so back up.
We are still trying to define who we want to be in contract negotiations with.
Okay, and that is a firm, and why can't, again, back to what is not confidential, what is confidential about what I'm hearing you say now is the criteria, you're talking about the criteria to develop what the requirements are for
Linda,
hiring a firm.
There is a short answer to that question, and it's a fundamental one. It is the board that has to decide what is one of those four things in the bylaws. If it wasn't the board, then the community would be arguing about, as it sounds like you want to do, is this confidential or not? And there would be nothing confidential because it would all have to be done in public. The board has to determine that, and it has.
Okay, so again, it's one of those things that is not very clearly defined or written from a process standpoint. And I would just like to say, from a process standpoint, you guys have done an excellent job in creating the balanced scorecard. You started off with SWOT, you went to the balanced scorecard. I think the next opportunity where you all can lend a whole lot of benefit to Telco Village is documenting these processes so that they are clearly defined to hold the board responsible and to set clear expectations for your residents. That way, David, I'm not up here challenging what is the way that you're going to govern, because it's going to be clearly stated. And at that point, everybody has a pretty good guideline.
Oh, that's fair. We started going back through the old processes with Beth last year, and we have a current book that we don't even understand. Karen developed it for us, and we're trying to go through and clear everything up, but it's not going to happen overnight. We've got 40 years of processes that this isn't even one of them in there. We're plowing new ground.
Great opportunity, and I'm glad you guys see that. My only other comment and question is when you're looking for an executive search firm, I'm challenged by the fact that you're indicating that you need to bring on a resource to identify what it is that you need, when typically the executive research or the executive search firms have done years and years of studies, have benchmarks that prove their guidance, not to mention benchmarks that the POA has on hand from previous studies. But to say that you're going to go and take a year for an interim manager to identify what the benchmarking needs
Do we
are?
want to make a mistake again?
I didn't say you wanted to make a mistake, but there's an opportunity for you to take a search firm who, that's what they do, is benchmark information and can compare it to what you have, either past or current, but
Linda, we don't
shouldn't take
have
a
anything.
year. You don't have any benchmarking?
Very little. You'd be surprised what we actually have.
Okay.
And Ed's working his buns off trying to get the IT stuff up to snuff. We went back in and tried to figure out some costs, and I can't define those, but we couldn't define the costs. There was no accurate tracking. This place has been run like a mom and pop candy store, and when we ask for a job description, and I'm going to pick on Carrie here, from the military, there's what's called a TO&E, Table of Equipment and Organization and Equipment. We don't have that. I can't tell you how many people, what this job title is, what its base is, and what it's got to go to. And that's what we're working on right now. We're trying to get all of those structures in place so that we know when we hire a Golf Pro 2, he should get this range. When we hire a Weed Whacker 1, he should get this range. We don't have that data. We don't even have an org chart, much less look how long it took for them to develop incorrectly a reserve study. That the first reserve study said we needed $750 million in 30 years. And the next one comes in and we need 300 million. And we still can't define everything. There is not accurate definitions of what we need for TO&E, and we're trying to work on all of that at the same time. And hopefully they will bring us some skills in that place to help us be successful.
Good job. Thank you.
Mr. President, I know we're under a time thing. I'll stay here at 7 o'clock tonight if everybody wants to. I don't know if you noticed, we've got ladies and gentlemen all the way down the stairs. I'm just bringing it up to you. I don't know if you can see them.
I've got lunch. I got dinner. Huh? I got dinner.
Hi, my name is Mark Flynn. I'm from Toka Coves. In the interest of cohesiveness, I've got something off track. If you want, I'll go to the end of the line as long as I promise to get my answer question.
No, this is your time.
Here's my question. We're talking about build out with Teleco Village. We're going to build out. Is there a revenue stream being discussed to replace the fees and permits and everything that goes along when we lose the revenue from build out?
Yes.
It was talk of a buy-in fee, pardon me, and then that was tabled, apparently. I was just wondering if there's anything out there that people are discussing within the board that is going to replace the revenue stream that we're going to lose.
Not only the revenue stream, but the reduction of costs. If we can do things with automation, if we can stop the double entry of things, if we can stop the double handling of things, while the revenue stream's out there, about the only tools that we have are your dues and what we can charge for our amenities. There's no other true revenue streams that are generatable. You brought up the buy-in fee. We tried, that would take, is it 2/3? And correct me, it would take a 2/3 vote of.
Two-thirds vote of the residents to get that passed.
Not-
Of
yeah,
every lot, every
yeah.
lot,
So,
yeah.
There's some challenges there. Yes, we're looking into it. Yes, we're looking to try to mitigate costs as part of that.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
And part of what we think about finding the right firm to do benchmarking for us is a firm that has helped residential communities through that kind of transition and can give some advice. They tried this, it didn't work. They tried this and it did work. We need advice across the board.
Mike, I just want to add one thing. It's about the data that you said. I've been involved 10 years with long-range planning and on the board, and getting data day one has been a freaking nightmare here. Long-range planning became, instead of just an advice, they've become a data gathering. So the only data that I've seen is what long-range plan has gathered over the last 8-10 years. And all the studies on parking and things like that, because it isn't there. I mean, it was not done. It was all handled by the former general manager, handled budgets, handled everything on his own, and there was not good processes or procedures. We have progressed in the last 2-3 years significantly there, but we've got a long ways to go.
We have gone from a mom and pop shop.
Yep.
To a $45 million a year corporation.
Yeah.
With 400 employees.
And built 1,500 homes in 5 years.
Yeah, and we haven't put the infrastructure in place to be successful in that.
Thank you. I need 3 minutes, please, Ms. Kaburka. By the way, thank you for being the secret weapon of the help spot. I use you a lot. Thank you. A lot of people have a lot of personal opinions about, I love golf, please don't do anything to people I love at golf. And I have to say, one of those golfing guys is very cute. But you're running a business, and it is important that you admit you don't know everything about it, and that you do get benchmarking, and that whoever you are looking at to come and perhaps manage us has a lot of golf management experience. That's an expensive sport. I love golf courses. My father was the general manager of a golf course or a country club when I was born. So I was actually raised at a golf course. But as a business person, we need to stay competitive. And to do that, we need data from good sources where we can truly benchmark. And so many of us voted for you guys because I saw how you personally dug into the weeds on the water and sewer projects. I know you are going to get into the weeds and do this the right way for us. So sometimes, it could mean different things will look different when the answer comes to us. But thank you for putting the time in to do it correctly so we don't have these horrible payouts for people that were the wrong choice for our business. Thank you again.
John Olson, Tanasi. I want to talk about the Loudoun County Commission Board. These are the cowboys who rammed through a property tax increase for what I consider a questionable need for schools. They just came out with their redrawn lines of districts. And I think Tellico Village has to address the fact that they are slighting Tellico Village. The only district we really have is District 7, which is Tellico Village, the main Tellico Village, east of Route 444. And they say that's 5,500 people. The other half of Tellico Village is combined with Loudoun. And they say that that's 11,000 people. And if you say 5,400 homes here, that's 10,800 people. That would say that Loudoun has 5,800 and we have 5,300. And I don't think we get the representation out of District 1 that we should have. Okay. But I mean, I think
I think he's agreeing with you, John.
I think he is too, but we have to take a more proactive approach with the gerrymandering of the districts. I mean, that's a big talk piece right now nationally, but we're getting, I won't say the name.
As an individual, John, you can do that. As a resident, you can do that. As a board, we can't be involved in politics. It's written into our articles of incorporation and into, might be in the CNRs as well, but we can't get into politicking.
So if they want to put it to us, we just have to accept.
No, we can go in and there's things that we can do, but we can't support candidates. We can't contribute to political campaigns. And all we can do is with our votes, cumulatively, go in there and elect what we can and, deal with Lowell Russell in that space. But as a board, because we're a 501c3 also, which is a nonprofit, or C4, we are banned by our bylaws,
So,
or CNRs.
I hate to put words in your mouth, but you're saying the citizens have to do it themselves.
Pretty much. I'd love to help, don't get me wrong, but it's
Yeah,
outside,
but I mean, what I'm
it's
looking
outside
at
my
is
K-rails.
Tellico Village. They're cutting us down the middle and
It's-
weakening us in that respect. And I think that's
That's a
gerrymandering,
political,
and-
it's a political item, political football, and I can't get Tellico Village involved in that.
Okay,
Sorry.
all right.
Just one last quick question. I hate to beat a dead horse, but I will. This is for David. David, Mike is, I'm comfortable with everything I heard about the process, and I understand, and I will sit back and just watch how this unfolds, with one exception. Please explain to me, Mike's already said you're not in contract negotiations yet, okay? Why is it confidential, the criteria you're going to use to pick this firm? Why isn't that 10-point rubric something that you could share with us owners?
Because it moves into, it's a semantic question, are we in contract negotiations or not? Talking to firms is at least a preliminary to that. We are not in fact, okay, here's the paper, we want to cross out paragraph 3. That'll come further down the road. This is also now into a personnel stage because we're talking about individual people who might come here to be the interim
Gary,
executive leader.
if we gave our criteria out, they would tailor their response to what we're looking for.
And
It's like showing your cards at a poker table.
Okay.
Here's all the cards on the table, guys. Pick which hand you want to play. And we're not going to do that.
Okay.
And ultimately, the board has to decide what fits in those 4 things, because the only alternative to that is the whole village is deciding and nothing's confidential anymore.
I understand.
You can't avoid that.
I understand Mike's point that if you share what your scorecard looks like, it does give them insight, but it also gives them knowledge to know where you really want them to be. So there is some value in it, okay? It makes probably your job tougher because now you have to read through the lines of what's real and what's not real. But I do understand it makes your jobs harder, but it does give all the bidders information on what they're being scored against. So I'll leave it at that.
I would say after we made the selection, we can share how and why we made the selection to the public. I think that is fair. Is that fair?
Sorry, part of the answer is Pat's right. This has to be done by representative government, which isn't perfect, but it's the best system there is. And you cannot, there are no guarantees. You got to do the very best you can.
Hi, Nancy Mariani from Tokwa. I've listened to all your explanations of how this is all being done, and I'm still trying to clarify it in my mind. Probably a lot of other people are also. You are looking to hire, and we're a self-managed community. A lot of other communities are managed by management companies. Those are usually disasters. So we're self-made. When you hear management company, people get, oh gosh, we're bringing a management company in. Okay, so you are looking for a company who is going to come in here for whatever duration of months, that they are going to be the one to select this interim manager. Is that correct?
No.
Okay, well, there you go.
We are.
All right, so they are going to just, in whatever process, they are going to be in the community? I mean, I guess I'm trying to figure out, how are they going to benchmark what we need?
We're not looking to hire anybody to run anything here. We're looking for a firm and an interim executive leader that comes from them to benchmark us.
Okay.
We need companies who have experience with amenity-based residential communities, because they're the ones they know what works and what doesn't work.
Right, but
That's it.
You answer my question by saying this interim manager is going to come from this management company.
Yes.
All right. Once that interim manager is here, that management company goes away? Or does he work for them?
That's why it's a pair. They're going to give us various experts in various kinds of things that match everything we do in the village, to take a look at how we do it and make some, benchmark us against other communities and give us some recommendations. You know, you could improve how you do payroll, just to take a random example.
So the management company.
Some of their experts will have helped define that. That'll all be coordinated by the interim executive leader. That's why he or she has to come from
Okay, so
the
the
company.
package deal
They're a
is
pair.
they find an interim manager and they're all a package
Well,
deal?
they propose, we pick. But
Okay.
we have to pick the IEL and the firm as a pair. You can't
Okay,
avoid that.
so, and once that process is done, now you have your job description of what you want in a manager, correct?
Not in the general manager, okay? Not the permanent general manager. We're getting benchmarked so we can come up with that ultimate job description in a much better way.
Well, I guess I wasn't clear. I thought that's what I just said. This management company and interim manager will come up with and propose to you all the things that you should be looking for in a permanent general manager.
Not quite. I mean, you could say it that way. They will give us benchmarking and recommendations about how we do everything we do running this $40 million company. And then we will have the interim executive leader help us, given that knowledge that we have now, what kind of a search for the permanent general manager should we have, and we'll figure that out, and then we'll go search.
Okay, and that was really what I was saying. After that's all done, you will then go to a search firm and you will be looking for a search firm, like a GSI who which is one of the main firms in the country, and they're the ones that found the Fairfield Glen manager. So would be the next step? I guess I'm just trying to clarify.
That hasn't defined yet.
We're not there yet.
We're not there.
No, you're not there yet until all this interim stuff is done.
We've got to get
But the next step after that,
is to find a general manager, permanent.
going through another search firm, a separate
We
firm.
haven't defined that yet.
Okay. Thank you.
Guys, it's after 5, and
We have
I've
one
got
quick question, actually multiple questions online about the same topic, and there might not be an answer, but what is the budget for this process?
Beth, who's asking and what neighborhood?
I don't really know. I have an
And I'm not answering.
MFW, and
The
then,
problem that we run into is these things are published, and I've got people at Loudoun Utilities Board that watches these things and wants to stick us with funds. So if they need to be as courteous as the people that we ask to come up here to find their name and their neighborhood, and by golly, we'll answer them.
Given the time and what Mike just said, our little set of rules for comment periods, anybody can send a question to the board via the help spot. And of course, they'll say, it's John Smith,
Board
and
contact
Mia Lacquo. So that's probably the way to do it.
yeah, Use the board contact form, please, not HelpSpot for communications with the board.
I thought the contact form was under HelpSpot, but however you get there.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's 5 o'clock. I'm going to step aside right now. I've got other commitments I got to go do that I made to my wife. So I'm going to step out, and if you guys, you can do what you want, Larry, if you want to stay.
No, I don't want to stay, but I do want to thank everybody for coming.
And we also have Kevin to consider. Kevin, thank you. He's back there in his pigeonhole.